Let me just tell you a little bit about Howie. We're so glad to have him here with us. Howie is an extremely passionate person. He loves education. He loves teaching educators. He's actually been on a few webinars with us before, so we're very happy to have him back here with us again today. And let's see, you guys have all voted, so let's share those results. And we have about 73% teachers, 8% librarians or media specialists, 8% directors of some sort, and 10% others. So it's nice to see a little variety there. And let me bring Howie back on.
Unmuted.
Hi Howie, glad to have you here with us.
Thank you very much, Grace. Appreciate it.
No problem. And I will go ahead and give you the controls.
Okay, I had to clean up my desktop, Grace, because it was kind of a mess before the last one. So I'm going to jump right in. As Kim and Lisa refer to my sessions as fast and furious. So I only have 10 that I'm going to share, but I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit because what I'm trying to do is share with you a number of these things. Our participants probably would have heard of a number of these, but I want to share with you the 10 things that I do every day and how I do my workflow, how I put things together. So let me start with the PowerPoint part, and then I've got lots of examples here for you. As Grace mentioned, if you want to follow on Twitter, it's H DiBlasi. If you want to send me an email, it is howie@frontier.net. And the Dr. Howie website, you will be able to download this PowerPoint that I'm using. They'll have all the web links in it, so don't worry about madly writing the things down and trying to capture the URL. You can download those. It is there now. It's drhowie.com. And on the left-hand side, I actually changed it last night, it says video conferencing and webinars. When you click on that, it'll take you to the page, and at the very top, it'll say 2012, and it'll have the title of the 10 tools that I use every day. So that's available for each one of you. If you've been here before or visited ISTE or FETC or any of the bigger conferences I presented at, you know all my material and workshops are available with Creative Commons licensing, which basically means you can use it in any way that you'd like to. You can cut it up, you can add things to it, take things away, just give credit where credit is due. So you're welcome to do that. Let me move this little piece over out of the way. These are the 10 things that I'm going to cover in the 25 minutes or so that we have with social media, search engines, and so on. I'm going to give you some examples. So that's where I said I kind of changed and modified a little bit. I've got 2 or 3 examples that are under that. The biggest thing for me that I use absolutely every day is social media. And there are a number of things that I use. Twitter is at the top of my list. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll find that you get 5 to 10 tweets a day. And I will be sending things out of websites that you can use either as a teacher, as an administrator, as a change agent, media specialist, librarian, any number of those. Facebook I use more personal, but I do post some of the things there, so if you'd like to take a look. And on both of those it's H DiBlasi. The Google Plus I'm just getting started using, so I'd be interested to know, Grace, maybe some people could make some things there in the chat window of their experiences with Google Plus. And I'm kind of checking out the video piece that's in there. And if you notice the misspelling, that was I madly trying to change it. That's supposed to be classroom, not classroom. So I will fix that in the slide. And there are so many things that are out there. Part of the problem that I face every day is like, what am I going to use? So the ones that you just saw are the ones that I actually concentrate on. And I have on the website also, if you'd like to download it, there is a presentation on the categories of social media in 17 ways that you can use it in your classroom, how to integrate it. And they're broken down into these categories. So a couple things that I'd like to share that I use with Edmodo, not so much as a tool, but as I'm checking to see what other people are doing and what they're sharing. Everything that I have in here is free. There is no cost associated with any of these. I believe I do have one thing at the end that there is a cost, but everything else is at free and no charge. And Edmodo I love because it's very Facebook-like. Students love using it. I know teachers all the way down middle school, high school, and there is a special parental permission form that you can do to even use it with elementary kids that Edmodo provides for you because of the age 13 issue. Creative Commons is a piece that's within that I use, but this is where I find all of my videos. This is where I find my slides, my pictures, so that I don't get caught up in a copyright issue. And that's really important, and I'm sure the media specialists would really jump in and tell us that they agree also that our students do not understand copyright. A lot of them just think it's free, they can take whatever they want. And by using Creative Commons and typing in there that it's licensed that way, there's no copyright, you can use that and there's nothing restricted within there. Flickr is another source for social media that I use quite a bit, and I'll show you a photo here just in a second. But what a lot of people don't realize in the way that I use Flickr every day is there's many, many school projects that are done within here for visual literacy and digital storytelling. Many examples, and people share their photos and things so they don't have a copyright restriction that's on there. One of the things, for example, that I found is a photo like this, and when I do visual literacy, I ask people to take 1 or 2 words to describe a series of photos. And this is one, and then we would do, if we were doing it in a workshop, and you'd go through and give me 1 or 2 words, and then we put a little digital story piece together that's on there. Our previous session, people were talking about picnic going away, and what I found is a replacement, and I added this to it because when you have a slide, a lot of times you want to edit it, you want to change it, you want to fix it, you overexpose it, underexpose, you need to crop. PicMonkey is just as close as I can find to what Picnic was, but actually a couple things are a little bit easier. You simply say edit your photo, you click on it, and rather than even uploading it, you just click and you drag it into that area that you see there on the screen, and then you can modify, crop, adjust, and so on, and then do a save as and save your photo. So PicMonkey is my favorite, and as I said, in my things that I use every day, this is one that I use a lot. Classroom 2 is the Professional Learning Community, PLC, sometimes called PLN, that I check in with. And what I really like about this particular one, I think this is over 65,000 that Steve Hardigan has for people that are in here, I can go into this resource, and every night, every evening, Steve has a free connection. It might be an author, it might be a change agent, it might be a discussion with a book author, and he even had some today. On Saturday is his International Day, so you can communicate with folks literally around the world that will drop in. And I notice here we had one from Norway, knowing the time difference. I think it's late in the evening there, knowing that time difference. This is the Classroom 2 website. It's Classroom 2.0. That's the actual website you can go to. And where I go into is the group area. And I can find many different rubrics that are in there, policies that have been written, and it saves me a lot of time, and I usually use that for reference that people have. Now, under the social media part that's in here of things that I use every day, Twitter is at the top of the list. I pulled this slide from my 17 ways to integrate social media into the classroom. And Facebook is number 1. I have mixed feelings about using that in the classroom. There are some good things. I have issues with Facebook on some of their privacy issues. I'm really concerned about that. Possibly now that Facebook is going to have to answer to shareholders, we may see a big change in that area. Twitter, there's a number of ways on the website of how to use that in the classroom. Number 3 is LinkedIn. That's the professional community. And what I thought was interesting is number 5 that's moved up, Google+. And then Deviant Art is a really interesting site that has just come out of nowhere and moved up. And it's different individuals, students, and people that are making different art pieces. I would take a look at it. There's a number of things. They're not issues that I think are that great if you're using it in middle school, high school. I haven't really found anything that's truly inappropriate, but it's very possible something would show up there. So you, and especially I wish they didn't have that title, so you take a look at it and see what you think. This was a slide. It was funny because last night on the news, Mark Zuckerberg had this slide up there. These are the connections literally around the world of Facebook. And this article that is written up there that you see is a little article that said, how powerful would this be if we had Twitter and Facebook connected to each other? And these are links literally around the world. This was at a given point in time. I thought it was a pretty powerful slide that showed that on there. Twitter, I think all of you know about. I send out, as I mentioned, 5 to 10 a day. I send some in the morning and some in the late afternoon. And there's about 3,000 people that I send those out to every day. On the weekend, I try to send a few more fun things, but things you can use, websites, smackdown things. I learned of a new one today that I'll be sharing later on today, so you can go there. This is another slide that I pulled up that I didn't realize the impact that Twitter has. And I received this about 6 months ago, a tweet from somebody, and they said, do you have any idea where your followers are? So I put my ID in of H. DiBlasi into this particular website. It's called Tweets, it's a plural, TWEEPS map.com. And I was really kind of flabbergasted because I thought most of my followers, were all in the U.S. And that, you can see by the map, that is where most of them are. But then I got really confused because I said, well, how can all these other people literally be around the world? Well, it's the old thing, you don't advertise, it's word of mouth. Somebody tells somebody else, or I present a keynote at a conference and somebody drops in from another country, an international, and they take a look, and then they drop in and start to follow. So it's a pretty impressive piece to see where a lot of your followers are literally around the world and the impact that you're making. A lot of times you don't have any idea of how you're changing a lot of different things. Search engines, many of you have seen Wolfram Alpha. You may not know about DuckDuckGo. These are the one, again, that I use every day. What I wanted to show you was a few new ones that are out there. The reason the lines are through those 4 that are on there is this. The way I test a new search engine is I have a criteria of 4 things I search for. Number 1 is I always put the search in for Ben Franklin and I spell Franklin incorrectly. I want to see if the search engine will find it, as most kids might spell something incorrect. The second thing I do is I take a historical figure, I do spell it correctly, and I put in General Thomas Gage. He was the general that was in the American Revolution. Then I also put in a couple of other things to take a look at. A fun thing, I put in Mickey Mouse. I'm a big Disney fan. And then my last one that I put in there is the Tree Octopus. That's a hoax website. And if my search does not produce results in all 4 of those, I really can't recommend it. So that's why those lines are through. In fact, in some cases on some of these, you got nothing. It said you spelled it incorrectly. So a couple that I want to show you that are really new that are out there that you may not know about is SquirrelNet is one. It's a safe search that they have set up the requirements, and I know that you can change some of those within Google, but this is already set, and you can make it so you can't change those things back that the kids are on there. That's called SquirrelNet. This is the one that really intrigues me. If you'll notice, I spelled Franklin incorrectly, but it's a series of puzzle pieces. And this is the Boulify that you put a piece up there and you say, here is the topic, and you can say General, and then you can put another little puzzle piece and say Thomas, and another one you could say Gage, or if you knew the URL. And as you see, I did spell it incorrectly, but a good search engine will say, oh, what you meant was, or I think you meant, and then you click on it and you get those particular ones. Many years ago, there was a thing that was kind of like the wagon wheel that was on Google, and unfortunately, they got rid of it. And this particular company, Instagrok, in fact, I heard this on the session before this, somebody shared with this, and it's not an exact copy, but really, really powerful. So you can see in the middle, I spelled Ben Franklin incorrectly, and it links many of the connections and the historical significance that Ben Franklin had. And then the others that connect around there, I click that, it gives me a second wheel. So this is a kind of a takeoff of what Google got rid of. Unfortunately, many of the media specialists and librarians probably remember that. So this is a great substitute for that. So there's a few new things that are available for you on search engines. Google Tools, what I did here is just put a lot of links. You may or may not know about many of these. I'll actually have a couple of sessions I'll be doing at ISTE in San Diego if you're interested in dropping in some spotlights. And there's also 4 or 5 workshops that we're doing. I think there's still seats available in a couple of those. So I added a number of these that you may or may not know about, of all the different links and direct links. The ones that I want to kind of show you and direct you to is the Swifty that's available. It's a beta test site. You can take a look at it. The SketchUp piece, Google has given rights of that. If you're a fond user of that, you know that that change has been made. It's been shifted over to MIT. I personally think that's a good thing because MIT, I've worked with Mitchell Resnick, and he will take that piece and really make it better than it even was. But the Building Maker, interesting enough, is still available on there. So if you're doing any kind of drawings with Google SketchUp, you can actually still use the Building Maker, and it allows you to do 3D models and put them on Google Earth. And then the two that I use every day, I subscribe through the RSS feed, which is a way of sending the information to you every day. So every morning I get the links, is Mashable, which gives me a lot of things that I retweet, and Technorati is kind of the technical site that's available to you. So those are the tools that I use every day for the classrooms of that. This is a new one that was released back in about 2 weeks ago. It's called the Knowledge Graph. And what happens is when you look for things, so I typed in Mickey Mouse as an example, and what has happened down below at the bottom, you don't see it, it says show more. You usually used to see everything, images and maps and so on, but now what has happened, new things have popped up in there in that drop down menu that say videos, news, shopping, books, places, blogs, flights, discussions, recipes, applications. Patents is new, and then you can see the button that says fewer. If you click that, it will collapse. So that's a new search engine piece that they're adding to that and put in there. The next one that I'm adding is the YouTube for Education. This was released about 6 months ago. In most cases, districts that I've talked to, they are not blocking this. Very powerful in things they have. So the links that you see on the screen, when you click on that, it will take you directly to each one of those in those content areas. There is a primary area, there is a secondary area, and there's a higher education piece. And then I put the categories that are on there. Now what it looks like is this screenshot that comes up is this particular piece in the categories. I have to exit out of this because the Java piece that's in this particular GoToMeeting does not support video within the PowerPoint. So you're going to have to bear with me while I exit out. But I want to show you an example of the fun kind of things, and they are pretty professional in the way the things are done. And I'm going to show you this particular one. Again, I'm going to have to exit out. This is actually a Lego piece, and the way that it's done is it's explaining the ancient Egyptians, but then the individuals that actually made it used Lego, and it really tells an interesting story. Now it is about 8 minutes, I'm only going to show you about a minute of it, but let's take a look at an example of this real quick of what it looks like.
It can be difficult to build a Lego pyramid using lightweight bricks that easily connect. Think about how hard it was for the ancient Egyptians to build the massive stone pyramids that they built many years ago. King Khufu's pyramid remains one of the biggest man-made structures in the world. It was created from roughly 2.3 million stone blocks, and each one of the blocks weighed 2.5 tons.
Measuring the site was done with great precision, meaning they were very careful. They took rope to mark off the base of the pyramid, which, by the way, is a square. Leveling the site was also done with great care. They dug trenches around the site and filled them with water. They could tell by the water's level whether or not the ground needed to be higher or lower in different spots. Cutting the giant stones for the building was no easy task. The ancient Egyptians didn't have iron tools to make the job go quickly. They came up with a very creative way to cut the rocks into usable sizes. Using wedges made of wood, they poured water onto the wedge. The water would cause the wedge to swell, cracking the rocks.
Moving the stones from the quarries to the pyramid building site was very difficult. Sliding the piles of stones along the road using a...
I think you get the idea, and it's just a lot of fun to watch that, the way they were made to get a physics concept that was actually done with that particular piece. So let me jump back in here now. Another one that was available that was on there that I found was some Spark Notes. And they've actually put all the pieces on there of Spark Notes and a number of the different things. Now, I don't know how your feeling is about Spark Notes and what's on there, but there is a whole YouTube channel, and they've got 23 different ones that are on there. And here's something on Homer's Odyssey, and the link is there if you want to take a look at it. It's done very well with professional illustrations and so on. The next one, number 5, that I check every single day is the TED Talks. And what I've done is some research and pulled up the ones that educators feel are really the best things that are out there. And they are listed here. I just have some of those that are listed that are kind of at the top of my list. And the ones that I have really found interesting is David Hoffman's, it's the 5th one down there, about how he talks about Sputnik and how it actually changed education. And then the next one is Sugata Mitra, that showed how kids are teaching themselves. Very interesting on how they're doing that. And then the next one is Bill Joyce. He talks about how to figure out what's coming up next, what's in the future, and so on. And then Woody Norris has how he invents really amazing things. And then the last one is David Merrill's Shiftables. And if you haven't seen the Shiftables, take a look at that. It's absolutely amazing concept. Actually presented in 2009, and it's taken actually 3 years for them to actually get that product to market. It will be coming out in June. Slideshare, I'm sure a lot of people know about. You can subscribe to these. Why you should use it, I just grabbed a couple things that are out there, a couple things that are on there, and what most people do, I just load all of mine, but I am going to start putting all of these on Slideshare, starting with ISTE, and you can pull those up, you can share them, you can make them so people can't download it if you, for some reason, don't have it licensed under Creative Commons. But great, powerful piece. And then I went out to the web and did some searching and said, well, why do people like Slideshare? And there's 15, 16 different things there of what they like. One of the things is the second that you see there is you can upload up to 100 megabytes of files to put on there if you want. So if your PowerPoints are very large, that's not a lot of space, but you can add all of those, and they can be in a PDF or a PowerPoint version. Number 7 is the bookmarking piece. There's a, I don't know if I should say controversy, but two kind of themes here, and one is delicious, and one happens to be Diigo, and I'm going to talk about both. So some of the reasons to use that, if you've not done any social bookmarking, basically means that you mark the things and you're able to share it with your students or your teachers or your professional development group or administrators. And then as you mark those sites, they're shareable. Normally when you save that on your computer at home, other people do not see that. So when you put those together, you save them as a group, and then other people can see those and pull those up. So if you're doing a particular thing on Homer's Odyssey, as we were just referring to that, you could put those together and the links would be available for them to go to. So I put several things together here on lesson plans and ideas. There's a wiki that's available, has a lot of different ideas, and putting those things together that Sue actually assembled, and I thought it was a great way to take a look at that. And she gives some actual lessons for middle school and high school to be able to use that. And this is what her link looks like. It's referring to Delicious. If you're not familiar with that, it was sold by Yahoo. A new group took it over, and they have supported everything that you had and brought all those pieces over. There's a link there directly to it, and then you can subscribe to people much like you do in Twitter and get those examples. So the next piece is on the Diigo, and we've probably got two camps here, and people would tell you why they like this better. I personally think the Delicious piece is easier to start with, and Diigo kind of is the next step up. But Diigo does have a lot more features that are on there. And then David Pierce did a really great piece that I've added the link to here that he's got in here about the 7 reasons, and then he tells you specifically about those and why they work in the classroom. So then he's got you can create it. By the way, as I said before, all of these that I'm showing you so far are free. There's no charge. One of the things on the Diigo that I like, you can keep it private, or you can share those resources if you want to. So I've got lots of education examples in here, how to share your favorite website, and then some new things that are available, that different ways to do bookmarking. Symbaloo is the first one. This is more of a graphic piece of Delicious. And you can see they're on there, a lot easier for elementary kids. It's called Symbaloo, and you can just put that, and it grabs a little icon that's on there, and you click on it, and it will take you directly to it. So with younger kids, you can say, okay kids, I want you to use these 5 in doing the research or the project to put it together. The next one that I discovered here a few months back is very similar to the other one, but a little bit more detailed. It's called 19 Pencils. And it's the same concept between Diigo and Delicious, putting those different pieces together on there to do that. And it's called 19 Pencils, and the link is listed there. And here's a little review that they put in EdChat about what the folks thought about it and being able to use it. And what teachers really seem to like is they can customize each one of these. You can put your website, your quizzes, videos, all those things in one place. Number 8 is cloud computing, and kind of the hot topic here. I did a workshop at FETC, and this is a list that we made of what could you do in the cloud. So those were the things that, all of the things, I personally think that's the way we're going to see things moving. Google's already done many of those. So what I decided to do, rather than taking the time to go through each one of these, I put the research together for you. You basically click on the link, and I've got over 200 items in 130 plus categories for you that have all of these different categories. So if you want to see what's the best, the easiest to use, now in this particular link, some of these there is a cost associated. So under Home and Office, you may find something like Microsoft 365. There is an education cost related to that, about $10 a student. So you can go through each one of those, by those being broken down. This is what the link site looks like, and as I said, the link is there. It's hot. It will take you to it, and then they tell you and give you a little review about why they like it or why they don't, and why this is better than another one. And then I broke the final one down into these content areas, putting those together. Next one, we have 2 more to go here, and we'll be finishing up on time, Grace, hopefully. Free online file converter. This I use every day and 3 or 4 times a day because I'm always finding files in the wrong format. So when I want to put it into PowerPoint, it wants it a certain way. When I want to go into a PDF, it needs to be a certain way. So the onlineconvert.com, and the hot link is there. It's www.online-convert.com. And any kind of media you can convert. You can do the audio, you can do images. So if you got a TIFF file and you need it to do a JPEG, that'll work. In this case, I do a lot of video conversions from my YouTube that people share with me, and those are in a Flash format. And I know that it won't work on an iPad, so I convert it into an MP4 or a Windows Media Video. Very simple, usually takes just a couple of minutes. It's not like some of the other ones where you have to have an email and then they send it to you. This is instant, it's done, and it saves automatically to your computer so that you have it. Again, that's online-convert.com. Then the last one that I have on here is the web page design. I'm going to show you 2, talk about 2, and excuse me, I won't be showing you the last one. If you're looking for something that you do professional development, maybe you do it as a side. Some teachers work part-time doing professional development, or maybe you offer professional services, as I do on a weekly basis. GoDaddy is the easiest way to get your own website. Very cost-effective and able to do that, and they have a thing called Website Tonight, and literally at the end of the evening, after about 2 hours, you can have a full website going. You can upload. For classrooms, there are 2. Weebly is drop dead simple. By that I mean it's drag and dropped. And it was recently in Time Magazine given one of the awards for the best website for kids. And you simply grab a little box, drop it in there. One of the things that school districts don't like is that it's out of their control. In other words, it's off-site, so you need to work with your district and see if that's permissible to do that. So I did this in about 3 minutes. I dropped a little text piece, I grabbed the graphics piece, put it in there. If you want a paragraph, a video, you drag that little icon that you see at the top down into the box, and away you go with it. Google Sites, many of you I'm sure have used, and I've not actually published any of them. I use it more in workshops, but you can do websites and wikis, and the website is there to be able to do that, to put those together. This is one that I have for another part of our professional services that we do called Tools for the Classroom. And again, you pick the layout, you put the things in there, and you can see all the choices that you have available to you in there on each one of those. So there is a review. Now I do need to tell you that I did add one at the very end here. There's the 10 that we have, and there's a term, and I'm going to challenge the group, and I want to see if anybody in the chat room can tell us what this term means, $1.380. And when I heard it the first time, I actually heard this 22 years ago, and I said, what does that mean? Well, you're going to have to look up and see what $1.380 means. But my bonus plus that's on here is the Csi Web Adventures. This is probably one of the most exciting websites that I've seen, combination with Rice University with the CSI experience in putting everything that we want to teach together with our students with critical thinking, problem solving, professional development. And what they've done is put these pieces together, and when you go to their website, you can start with case 1 and you say rookie training, I'm a beginner, and they go through all of the steps. And it's amazing when you're done with this, you will have students that are thinking about, you know, maybe I'd like to do that in forensics, maybe I'd like to be a research scientist. And then they take you through each one of these cases, and they're extremely well done. So if you want something, and it does not matter the content area that you have to put together, take a look at the CSI Web Adventures, and the link back here, as I have on here, it's forensics.rice.edu. And you can go on there, and again, you can download this, and you'll have this particular piece together. This is the first thing where you go through in the biology piece, and you go to toxology and go through each one of those. So I just had so much fun on this, I had to stop it and get back to work and putting those pieces together. So Grace, I will turn this back to you, see if we got any questions. I know that was fast and furious, but at the Dr. Howie, www.drhowie.com, they can download this and they can get all the links and be able to use it. So I'll turn it back to you, Grace.